from Kiambu, where Ferdinand Waititu has just been sworn into office. The man you've seen talking there as the last person, of course, is the outgoing Governor William Kabogo. Very interesting development there in Kiambu County. Of course, it is a county that has more than 1 million, actually 1.2 registered voters. And now, at this moment, also following for you another story, and this is everything to do with the petition that has been filed by the NASA outfit last night, actually at midnight. And our senior political reporter Duncan Khayamba did follow for us that story, and he was at the Supreme Court up until 12, or was it to 1, Khayamba?
To 1:30.
1:30.
Yes.
So many people are asking, why did NASA do that? Why did they go to court at night? It's something that has never happened before, I believe.
Yes, of course, on a lighter note, Suna East Member of Parliament-elect Junet Mohammed, of course, is a political comedian. He said that since the declaration was made at night, the petition had to be filed at night, and equally they expect the decision to be made at night. But that was on a lighter note. But when you look at what they are calling as overwhelming evidence that they carried, and you've seen the front page of the Standard, Raila Odinga himself and his running mate Kalonzo Musyoka walking in, of course, with Musalia Mudavadi. Each of them was carrying that bundle. Of course, it's documents and documents on top of documents. So it's a very big volume that we are talking about. And of course,
those who are saying that those documents were 9,000 pages, others 20,000. What was the exact number?
Well, in his brief, James Orengo, senior counsel, and who is, from all indications, he will be among the lead counsels. Of course, he confirmed that it's 25,000-page document, the dossier, the evidence that they've tabled. Of course, this one, he said that it had been, it was as a result of about 25,000 lawyers or advocates that prepared that.
25 lawyers.
25 lawyers. So you can assume that maybe each of them prepared a 1,000-page document. Yes.
I'm sure we've talked to some of the staff of the judiciary. What are they saying? Because they're expected to go through these pages in a few days, right?
Actually, the challenge is on the defense and by extension the bench, because you do realize that they only have 14 days as per the Constitution to go through details of the petition presented and give the verdict. So you can imagine, for those that the petitioners, they already know what the prayers, the arguments they are advancing. But now for the respondents, how do you go through for a 25,000-page document, then give a response? And you know, you cannot overlook some areas, because you might decide not to go through, and them, they know what they'll be presenting. So if they challenge, or they during the cross-examination, and you did not look at a certain aspect, it might cost you. So you can imagine the pain that the Jubilee defense team will go through, because
the judges as well.
The judges
each of the judges are expected to go through the 25,000 pages.
Yes. But you see, for the judges, they work. I think Kakai Kissinger will be giving you that in a while. But I think for the judges, for them is to listen. It's all ears. So the burden of proof is on the petitioners, and then on how the defendants will counter, because judges will listen. So it's not necessarily that they have to look at every detail. The bench will be there to listen to the arguments from both sides. So the challenge actually is on the Jubilee, the defense team, because woe unto them if they will have to overlook one aspect. The petitioners, they'll be sitting pretty, they know what they've put across. But now for the defense.
As far as the content of their evidence is concerned, this time round, of course, NASA exuding confidence. I've heard the principals, they're talking and saying that they're going to have some sort of a watertight evidence. Have you managed to know perhaps what are the content of these documents? Those who are saying they're more or less Forms 34 and B?
What Orengo talked about in his brief, he said that 90% is evidence, 10% is their pleadings, their prayers that they are putting across. And of course, in their statement that a digest that they released to the media, they want the whole election nullified. But they said 90%, what Orengo said, 90% is evidence, and that has been derived from Form 34 or A's and B's largely, but of course they're looking at it. When you look at some of the aspects, they are saying that over 25,000 actually it's on the election results form for vote for the declaration, and of course they are saying out of that about 14,000 of them had errors ranging from statutory documents that were not signed by returning officers, others not authenticated by official rubber stamp, others didn't have agent names or signatures. Then they're also saying some forms show that presiding officers a name appearing in charge of being in charge of multiple stations, of course, at the same time. That is not possible. So when you look at that, perhaps they're looking at perhaps it informs the reason why they demanded Form 34As from all the polling stations, not Form 34B, which would have been from the 290 constituencies.
One final question. What do we expect next now? Do you expect the NASA lawyers to serve both Jubilee and IBC? Remember, today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday, and they have a deadline of tomorrow.
Yes. So according to the Constitution, of course, on the elections, presidential petition, after they filed, they have 2 days, that is between last night and tomorrow, to serve the respondents. And in this case, we are talking about President Uhuru Kenyatta and IEBC. So they have 2 days to do so, but this time, 6 hours, within 6 hours of filing, they're supposed to serve them electronically, but on top of that, they're supposed to publish in a newspaper that has national-wide circulation. Of course, the Standard will be that one, of course, the Daily Nation, more or less all the dailies, but at least they're required to publish in one that has national circulation. Then after the 2 days, now the defendants have 4 days to respond to the petition. Ordinarily, they might oppose the petition, or they might say they are ready to challenge. But of course, you don't expect them to oppose, because NASA is going to court to have the court decide over, actually offer a verdict on the matter. Therefore, they will not oppose the petition, but of course they'll have 4 days to go through. Then after that, we'll have, that is already 6 days. Then we'll have a status conference where we'll have to have interlocutory applications, parties that would be interested. We've seen Third Way Alliance saying they want to be enjoined. So after that status conference, whereby they will have to agree on the modalities, rules of engagement, that is now when we expect the matter or the case to get underway proper.
Of course. Thank you very much, Khaimba, and thank you for a job well done last night together with your cameraman there at the Supreme Court. Of course, that has been our senior political reporter, Duncan Khaimba, telling us firsthand, what happened or what transpired last night when NASA outfit there filed that petition where they're challenging the re-election of President Uhuru Kenyatta. Now, we're going to take a very short break, but remember our bulletin on KTN Home ends now. But, of course, the news continues on KTN News. I'm going to engage our panel here, Kakai Kissinger as well as Brian Mutie, and we will continue with the conversation. We'll be right back. Don't go too far.